Alright, I'm making another video. This is Godot. To start out with, I have a character that can move left and right. If I click on him, he'll change. If I put my mouse on him, he'll change colors and spin. I can't click off of him, otherwise, if I click off of him, he doesn't spin. If I go in the teleporter, I will teleport. But what we are going to do today is we are going to give our character a new model, and we're going to animate our new model. So I am going to select on new Bob here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to change his picture. I don't want him to look like this Godot guy anymore. I want to change what he looks like. So I'm going to click on Sprite, and I have some pictures here that I called Bob, and I have Bob 0, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take Bob 0, and I'm going to drop him into the sprites picture there. And if you zoom in, you'll see Bob. I'm going to hide a couple of these areas here. There he is. There's Bob. But if you notice, he's a little bit smaller than our square. That's because of the size of what size pixels we used. We used 32 by 32, so I need to make it a little bit larger. So I'm going to click on Transform, and under Scale, I'm going to do 2 on the X and 2 on the Y, so it's going to double the size, so it just scales them up. It looks like one of my areas is a little bit too large. Let's see if we can figure out which one that is. Right there, look at that, 32. Okay, so I've got Bob. He's scaled up to the right size. Now, what I want to do, well, if you play this now, when I just change the picture, now I have a new picture for Bob, and he can spin, and he looks different. He looks like a stick figure. But I want to make it where he animates when he's walking left and right. So that's my main goal today. Got our picture, that's pretty easy. In order to do that, I'll give you a little bit of a recap. We have our Bob folder over here. I have a sprites folder. I have a Bob folder. And if you want to make a new one, all you have to do is right click in the open space and hit new folder. And you'll notice in each one of my class periods I have scenes, scripts, sprites. Sprites are pictures. So that's where that's coming from. Alright, so let's make it where Bob animates when he walks to the left and right. So click on Bob, new Bob up here. Hit the plus sign, and you're looking for an animation player. Animation player. Looks like a little film strip. It says container and player of animation resources. I'm going to hit recreate, and now I have a new animation player attached to new Bob. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on, you notice this bar appeared here at the bottom. This bar at the bottom is where we do all of our animation works. You can hide it by clicking animation, and you can bring it back by clicking animation again, and it just hides or brings it back. I'm going to click on Sprite, and this brings us to the picture here. I'm going to click animation here on the bottom. This animation, there's one really low, and then there's one up just a little bit. And as I click that, I have some options. I'm going to hit new, and this is going to create a new animation. I need to make 2 animations. I need to make an idle animation, and I need to make a walk animation. So alright, idle. I used a capital I there. Now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of backstory on this bottom bar down here. So you can think of this bar as a video, like on YouTube. The length of the video is how is this gray part here. Over here on the right, there's a little clock. Right now it's set to 1. That means our video is 1 second long. So if I change this number to something like 5, you're going to see the length of the video gets longer, and I can select different spots inside of the video at different points here. Now, this particular video that we're going to be using, or it is just a frame, is 1 frame, so it's not very long. So I'm going to do just 0.1 second. You're going to see that the bar shrinks down really far, and I want to see where I'm working. So down in the bottom right, there's this little magnifying glass with a slider. If I just slide it over, it'll zoom in and out on the video that I'm working with here. Now, I'm trying to click in the middle, but it's not letting me click in the center section. Down at the bottom middle, there's a little snapping feature that will only allow me to snap to every 0.1 seconds. So it'll snap at 0 and it'll snap at 0.1, but it will not snap into the center. If you want to click in the center, you can turn off the snap, and then it'll allow you to click anywhere. Or you can adjust the size of the snapping. So I could do 0.001, and then I can click in a lot more different places that just snap around. Go ahead and leave that on 0.1. What we want to do is we want to select on the first frame, which is the 0 frame. And at the 0 frame, we want to keyframe the one we are working with, which is Bob 0. So up here on the top right, you'll notice that there's a key right here. I'm selected on Sprite on the left-hand side. There are keys next to everything. I'm going to select the key next to texture, and it's going to say, do you want to create a new track? I'm going to hit yes. And now I have 1 keyframe here. This saves the picture at that point. So at this point, I have 1 picture saved, and it's Bob 0. I am done with this animation. This is what it's going to look like when he's not moving. I want it to play the idle animation. He just needs to stand there. Alright, so this one's done. I don't need to do anything else with this one. I need to make another one though. I need a walking animation. So let's create another one. So if you click on animation again, and you can say new, and you want to say walk. I used a capital W on this walk. Hit OK. And now you'll notice that my frame disappeared. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There's the length of the video. Right now it's set to 1 second. Now this animation is going to have 4 frames. So what I want to do is I want to separate the time of my video up to something that makes more sense. So I'm going to do 0.4. So every frame is going to have 1/10 of a second. So now there's my animation. It's about 0.4 seconds long. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And you can see I can click at each one of these 0.1 intervals. I'm going to click on the first one. And I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. I'm going to come up into the top right where I'm selected on Sprite. And I'm going to hit the key. It says, do you want to create a track? I say yes. So there's my first frame. I'm going to move over 1 frame. And now I'm going to actually change what picture there is. So the first frame is Bob 0. The next frame is going to be Bob 1. So I'm going to drag and drop Bob 1 in there, and you can see he kind of moved a little bit. That's my next frame. I'm going to hit the key again, and now there's another dot. I'm going to move over again, and I'm going to drag and drop Bob 2 in, and his arms moved again. I'm going to hit the key. Now I have 3 frames, so if I go to 0, he looks like that. 1, 2, and I still need to do the last one. So this is going to be Bob 3, so I'm going to drop that one in there, and I'm going to hit the key again. Now I have 4 frames of Bob just like moving around. On the right hand side, there's a couple arrows that like loop, think of that like if you were trying to play a song over and over, this would loop the song. I'm going to select that on this one, and I'm going to hit the play button. And you're going to see what Bob looks like when he's walking. That's what he looks like when he's walking. His arms move around and his legs move. So it's just playing. Do you see it playing through the animation? It's just playing the animation over and over and over and over. So it looks like he's walking. If I want to see what my idle animation looks like, I can hit this drop down box and I can select on idle. There it is. This one doesn't loop. There's no point. It has one frame. It's just the idle animation. Alright, now if I play my game again, you'll just see my character stands there and he's not moving yet. That's because in our code we haven't told it when to play the animation. So let's click on our script, and I'm going to show you guys how to activate the animation player. So whenever I push UI right, it adds some velocity to my character on the X direction. I also want it to play the animation. So if you use the $, you'll see that it brings up a green, it turns green. That basically means I'm about to call up something that is a part of this code. That's something that's kind of like attached to it. So over here you can see the things that are attached to new Bob are sprite. There's sprite right there. Collision shape 2D, there it is. Area 2D, and if you look at area 2D, you'll notice that it's there and it's here, and it has a / on this one, and it says collision shape 2D. That's basically saying that it has an area 2D, but also inside of that it's got a collision shape in there too. So I need to select animation player. There it is. That's the node that's responsible for playing our animations. So $ animation player, and I want the animation player to do something. I want it to .play, because we would need to play an animation. And what animation do I want it to play? Well, I want it to play the walking animation. So this should be pretty straightforward. This says go to the animation player and tell it to play the walking animation. Anytime that I am pressing the UI right button, it's going to play the walk animation, and it's going to move my character to the right with this one. This is the velocity telling it to move to the right. Now I also want to play the walk when I'm going to the left. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it under the next one. Now it says walk there. Now we're going to make this extra simple for ourselves. So under up and down, I'm not going to play the walk animation. I'm going to play the idle animation. You're going to see why. So I'm going to copy and paste this here, and I'm going to change it from walk to idle. And I'm going to play the idle animation anytime we move up and down. We're going to try and keep this simple so you guys can get your stuff working. Alright, so if I push to the right, it's going to play walk. If I push to the left, it's going to play walk. If I press down or up, it's going to play idle. Let's play our game. If I push up and down, or if I push left and right, now my character is moving. It looks like it's playing the animation when I'm moving to the left and right. But you'll notice that if I stop, my character keeps on wiggling around. He's still moving. But if I push up and down, he'll start to play the idle animation. We'll deal with these things a little more later, but you can take care of this stuff in code. But there we go. We have a character that can play the walk animation when you're moving to the left and the right. And if you push up or down, it'll stop playing the animation. Alright, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys have a good day.